Agave Azul is the tequila plant. It's mainly grown in my home state of Jalisco, Mexico. That's one of the reasons why I decided to name Agave Azul the restaurant in Sneads Ferry. I was born in Degollado, Jalisco, Mexico. I moved to California when I was 4 months old. So I didn't know much about Degollado until I was 6 years old. My name is Jorge Villaseñor, and I'm the owner of Agave Azul. As a kid, visiting Degollado was wonderful. I met a lot of new cousins, family members. The food was really great. The smell, I remember the smell, was the carne asada, the tacos. It was wonderful. My grandparents live here in Degollado and Ayotlan, Jalisco. So it's always nice to come here and visit everybody. Typical breakfast here in Degollado: huevos con chorizo, queso fresco, beans, handmade tortillas. That's typical, and just being together. Tequila and agave plantation is part of the culture here in Jalisco. Everybody drinks tequila. In a party, there's always tequila everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's tequila. Agave plantations as well.
My name is Agave Villaseñor, Jorge's younger brother. I'm the youngest of four. For me, it was different. I was born and raised in California, so the culture was, different for me. I came to Degollado probably when I was 10 years old, 10 or 11. That's a little bit older, so it was different. I loved it. I fell in love with it right away. The people, the food, it was totally different from California. When I was in California, North Carolina was not even near anywhere in my head. Never really knew anything about North Carolina, but my parents had told us to, that we might make a change and go to the other side of the country. I was excited, I was scared.
When we first moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, I was 15 years old. I was going to my sophomore year in high school, and it was tough because there wasn't that many Hispanics in 1999. It was really difficult for us. For me and my family, my brother and my sisters. I didn't have a lot of friends at first, but it was challenging. I cried a lot when I first moved to Wilmington. It was basically starting from scratch. My first job was washing dishes at a Mexican restaurant, bussing tables, running chips. I worked there part-time. I worked there maybe 4 or 5 years. I was really happy. I was really delighted with the way they were working, the staff was working, the cooks, the food, the customer service. I really liked the Mexican restaurant atmosphere, and I wanted to replicate that in my own business. And when I was 22 years old, I dropped out of college and I decided to open a Mexican restaurant. El Marinero was located in Oleander in Wilmington. We were open seven days a week. We had lunch and dinner. Our main dishes were seafood dishes. We had a lot of ceviche, aguachile. In 2008, whenever the recession hit, our sales really went down at El Marinero, and we were basically forced to close the doors.
Closing up Marinero was very, very tough. It felt like a failure because we We had this idea and this concept of what we wanted to do, and it ended up, not working out.
I had a lot of faith in me. I wanted to keep going. I knew I can be successful in a Mexican restaurant. I knew I had the talent, the discipline, and the creativity to bring new dishes, new drinks, provide good service to people. I always had the idea of bringing something different.
He was really ambitious from the beginning, from we first met. And then when he, had to close El Marinero, he told me I can't give up. He hasn't given up.
And there was a lot of key figures that really helped me get back on my feet. Part of it was my family. They supported me a lot. Friends, other business owners as well that really supported me. And for example, Lorenzo Ramirez, my wife's father, he really helped me a lot. A La Tapatía, we became a partnership. And it all started from there.
I can't talk about my dad. And honestly, my dad, he's the one that's, told me a lot of stuff, like always asking Jorge, hey, let's do a restaurant together, because he worked in the kitchen for so many years, but he just needed help, building a restaurant, and Jorge had the ambition to do it, so it worked out really good.
And I knew I needed one more shot. I wanted to go to a different city.
One day he said, let's just drive around from town to town, and then we found Surf City, and that's where everything started.
After Tapatía, we decided to come to Surf City, Topsail area, and we decided to open Camino Real. Me and my brother decided to go to Sneaks Ferry and open a Cancun Mexican restaurant in 2012. Surf City has been great. I've met a lot of people. My kids were born in Surf City. I paid my dues working as a manager for a long time. I decided to take another shot at opening another Mexican restaurant, and I think I was ready to open something new, something more modern. That was always my dream. We chose Sneaks Ferry to be a home of Agave Azul because we found the right location, and I think it was the right time. It was the right time to come to Sneaks Ferry. What makes Agave Azul unique is the atmosphere, our customer service, the vibe. We just bring a different vibe, more of a modern vibe. I felt I reached the American dream, but I think it's really important to maintain being disciplined because it's not easy to own businesses. So I think I've reached the American goal, but there's a lot more that I can do. Degollado has really inspired me. I really inspired our menu, our Agave Azul menu, because the flavors that Degollado has really stuck with me for a long time, and I can just, when I cook, it just reminds me of Degollado. So I always want to bring the culture, the flavors, the spices from Degollado to Agave Azul and bring it and introduce it in our menu. A typical dish is like the carne asada. The carne asada is cooked on a grill with the leña. We have a certain leña that we have here in Degollado, and it gets that charcoal taste, that unique taste with your beans, your rice, jalapenos, the carne asada, and the tomatillo sauce made from scratch. That's the typical that I like here in Degollado. You can find it at Agave Azul. definition for home, for me, I would say all places that I've lived are really important. Degollado, Wesley, California, Sneeze Ferry, Surf City area is home because it brings something different and they've made me who I am right now. To the people of Sneeze Ferry, I would like to say thank you guys for always supporting our business. Really thankful and blessed to be in part of Sneeze Ferry area. I also want to thank Degollado. I want to thank everybody that inspired me.
Home for us is feeling the connection between people. Just feels right, you know. Surf City, Sneeze Ferry area, it feels like, you know, we're from there. Honestly, we feel like it's just been our second home forever, and we didn't really know it until we got there.
We've always had that support from Surf City, Sneeze Ferry area. I want to thank you guys so much for believing in us.